Yeah, I found out our greatest miracle. Watch this now. Our greatest miracle is because we are spiritually blind. And we call in the devil. The devil done held up my blessing. No, your spirit.
Greetings, fam. This is the Friday, December 22nd, 2017 edition of Hood News. And I'm in a very festive spirit. So I was sitting here beginning my holidays by doing one of the things that I enjoy, which is eating. And I had this great product. They're called, what's her name? Baked by Melissa. So you go, Melissa. I had them. I ate them all, so I don't have any to show you. But you can find them online, and I actually bought them through Food Kick. So I had all my little goodies delivered, and I was sitting here, and I wasn't thinking about anything except enjoying my holiday. And then someone who's been watching the channel for a minute sent me a preview of this movie that's coming out in January. I believe it's January 1st. I'm going to leave the link to the information underneath so that you can watch it. And I have to say, having made my own Tupac documentary, what I just watched, was the most concise, informative documentary on the entire Tupac case. My documentary, from what I recall, I haven't watched it in years, the Thug Immortal thing, it consisted of just day-to-day activities and things leading up to the death, but not really in-depth background checking and information gathering and actual footage, evidence, and this was just deep. So I wanted to just leave my commentary here on things, and then I wanted to show you guys a trailer, and I wanted to encourage you to watch this movie because it gives a whole nother light on things, one that I didn't even think about. And I actually became very close to certain situations, and that's about as much as I'm going to say about that. But I will say that when I came out with my own documentary, which was nowhere near evidentiary or accusatory or even suggestive, I was attacked by Afeni Shakur's attorneys who were Fishbein Badillo. And Badillo was actually, I believe that was Herman Badijo, that's how they say it. And I believe he was some type of politician. So this, the rabbit hole goes very deep, folks. And in this provocative movie, you have people showing you the links and the puzzle pieces that fit. So this is, like I said, it's, first of all, well, let's talk about the cinematography, which was on point and very clear, concise thing. Granny didn't need her glasses. The soundtrack was the bomb. I love that song in the beginning, and they used a lot of old Tupac stuff, which was, very deep, and just the deepness. I want to say big ups before I forget to Jesse and Celicia. Celicia, I understand, was and has been a long time Hollywood channel supporter, and Jesse is her partner in life, and together they're the cutest little thing. But even more importantly is that they are deep. This movie is deep. And that's what I try to tell you, young pretty girls. I look at a pretty girl like Celicia, she's smart. And you pretty girls out there, nothing is worse in life than having a beautiful face that's slapped on an empty head. So you pretty girls out there wasting your life in the strip club and thinking you're going to turn out to be the next Cardi B, think again. and think hard on the decisions you're making, because there are many pretty girls who are on top of their game. Another one who I hadn't even heard of, I just had to glance on the side what her name was, but Susan Constantine. I never even heard of this chick. She is like a body language expert, and she brought out some points that people really need to look at, especially in this case. And Susan Constantine is fine as hell, and she's smart. She even invented little gadgetry to substantiate her claims that she makes, which some are quite a reach. But when she tells it, this chick, she's just on point. So this is another role model that some of you young ladies need to be looking at. These are the real, what this generation call, actually my niece called it, she called me a boss. And it's so funny because my biggest issue with this generation is that you youngins fail to recognize and make the distinction between a bird and a boss. So I'm going to throw y'all into the trailer for this flick, and then I'm probably going to come back with an end comment, but I'm definitely going to come back with a prayer. So stay tuned. We're going to jump into the trailer right here, and y'all going to see what I mean. And this is just everything about this thing, the facts and the corresponding facts and the counter arguments.
The most prolific rapper and movie star, Tupac Amara Shakur, was murdered in Las Vegas in 1996 at the age of 26. For over 20 years, the world has waited for the police to serve justice. But all we've been given are baseless conspiracy theories lacking the most important thing of all, truth. Snoop Dogg's involvement in Tupac's murder, Part 2, is the most explosive documentary of 2018. It exposes the real culprits involved in Tupac's murder, all of whom are still alive today. And no, it's not Orlando Anderson. Now available on Amazon, YouTube, and controversyradioshow.net.
Okay, so I just finished looking at the entire flick, and it breaks my heart that Afeni's lawyers, like, they came at me because of my film. All of a sudden, I was trampling on international property rights, the estate of Tupac Shakur, and all this negativity. And it was so interesting because I was riding for Afeni even when she never knew I was riding for her. Number one, we both believed that Suge was behind the whole thing. And this was fact. I mean, not for anything, but you recognize, just like the evil force can seek out the good forces, the good forces can also know when the evil forces are around, because what? We battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against wickedness in high places. So a lot of you know what time it is out there, and the fact that you could have policemen on the payroll at death row, you could have, this, like I said, her law firm was attached to this politician. He was the partner of, it was Fishbein, who was the person that I met with, by the way. And he was a rude bastard. He lit up a cigar, bad enough. That's strike one. Strike two was he blew this nasty cigar smoke in my face. But that was a form of intimidation. But it didn't work because I put my movie out anyway. And I thank all of you for supporting it. But this movie, and I gotta tell you, even from Afeni's documentary, my documentary, this is the most concise. It thought-provoking. It gives you a whole nother way to look at things. And it has facts. It's backed up with facts. It's real facts here. So I need y'all to check this movie because I'm still reeling because it's stuff that I did not connect. And it was so funny how I was even connected to the Cali thing because I was from here. the East Coast. But then I got appointed to Yo-Yo's IBWC, Intelligent Black Women's Coalition. And it's so wild because they even had, and I'm going to get back to that in a minute, but they even had Mike Tyson in the flick. And I met him while I was doing what I was doing when I was with Yo-Yo. I was actually, what do you call it? I guess the bouncer at a lot of these clubs that this dude named Stan used to have parties like Freaknik and all this college stuff. That it was so funny because it was like early introduction to the Illuminati because he was a Greek and he'd give all these step shows and all kind of frat related stuff. And I was like the chick who checked your bag when you came in. So I met Mike Tyson at one of these events. And he tried to slip past security. So I was like, oh, no, hell no. You definitely getting searched. And so, we became cool. But the thing about it is that, if you think about celebrities and controversy, and that's so funny because the brother, Jesse, and Celicia, they're the owners of the Controversy radio show as well. And their link's going to be about, below, so you guys can check it out. But the thing is, the funny thing about celebrities, and I'm just going to tell you something about Mike Tyson, is that they can be involved in all types of controversy, and they just slip through the cracks. It's like oil. Nothing. They can't. They keep it moving. And back in the day when I used to do bodyguard work at a club called Bentley's. And it was owned by a guy, I had worked a few of his clubs, Steve Giuliano, I think. It was similar to the mayor, but it wasn't the same spelling. And so he used to own Red Parrot and Shadow. And so I worked different jobs like from Kochek or what have you. So anyway, when I was working at Bentley, there was a chick there, and I forget what she did, but her name was Champagne. And so she came to work one night and she was like in some kind of funky mood. And I was like, what's wrong? And so she told me she had went on a date with Mike Tyson and that the date consisted of going to the hotel. And so long story short, she said that he was like pretty rough and they, did what they did. And then he threw her $100 and told her to catch a cab. So even though I was young, I was pretty hip to the game. So I told her, I says, baby, you go to a man's hotel and you sleep with him. What do you expect? If it walks, quacks, pretty much it's what it appears to be, So I said, you should have just, took the $100 and took the train. But long story short, I believe when he got accused of raping that beauty queen that he probably did not. He probably was the same abusive idiot who had, because look at Mike, come on, really, if he wasn't like a millionaire, would you look at him twice? Then to top it off, he had this like, Planet of the Apes type attitude where he just wanted to bogart the woman and do what he got to do, and then he'd throw it to the wall like the gorilla throw the baby, just, bye. So and I'm not, I already know I'm going to hear it, but it doesn't even matter because the point is she was upset at the way she was treated. I'm sure Miss that beauty queen, whatever her name was, Desiree, you already know. You probably went to the hotel, thought you was going to get treated like a beauty queen. You did not because he doesn't have no class. And well, he didn't then. He might have some now, but he basically did what he do. And he probably threw her about 200 being she was a queen or whatever. But the point is she was treated like what she act like because she shouldn't have went to the room no way at that hour. I'm sure they taught you that in etiquette part 2. And so the fact of the matter is she probably said, well, I'm going to get what I think I'm worth. And I don't doubt for a minute that she had consensual, but that's the mindset. So, so people are surprised years later. And the same thing with Snoop. They brought up, oh, I couldn't believe, but somebody had to tell it. Somebody had to tell it because too many people skip around the story. And they brought up the incident where Snoop had already been accused of murder. And he got off, But then again, I've said things like this for years. I mean, come on, T.I., come on, dude. That even back in the day with the different Black Panther parties and all the other organizations, we never had arsenal like that, And then not only that, there's people still in jail, for those different, infractions. A lot of the thing was not what it appeared to be. But we were more united as a people back then than we are, or I fear ever will be again. So I'm a lot actually disappointed that, even my brother Biggie, oh my God, I could tell you stories about Biggie. And, but, the thing about it is simply that we've got to stop people. We really got to stop because the money is not supposed to make you. You're supposed to make the money. And so, you know, we got to go back to being giving and loving and encouraging. And, the film talks about jealousy too. And a lot of you talk about haters. And that's why I put that intro on that other film. Because y'all need to know, haters is good. We need haters because they're the ones that keep us on top of our game. But it's when you feed into the hate that it becomes a powerful thing of its own being. It's no longer something you control. It has become this monster. And when it leads to, there's people that have offended me, have done things, have stole things. I'm not going to tell you the movie necessarily because you have to see it. There's just absolutely no other review that I could give except you have to see this movie. And dang, so many things that's going to come your way that are going to seem unstoppable and that you have to fight, but nah, the weapons of our warfare, they're not carnal. So we have to recognize that they come from a higher source. We come from a higher source. That's why they talk about taking a higher ground. But I have so much to say, but there's so much that I cannot say. So I'm going to end with prayer like I always do. People, I ask the Most High, Yeshua, to put some knowledge into your heads that you may be able to absorb the messages that are so clear within this presentation that you cannot mistake all of these options as to what could or could not be when it's so clear before you. People, I ask that God will open your eyes, that God will resolve things that have absolutely just gone unresolved because of the people's blindness. Lord, I ask you to open their eyes, open their hearts, open their minds. I ask you to put a special blessing on Jesse and Celicia and those that have toiled to make this documentary a reality, Lord. I ask favor upon favor upon favor of this film, Father God, that it will be received with open eyes and open minds, that it will be fed and watched by the multitudes, and that the multitudes and the multitudes of the multitudes will spread the messages contained within this film and the different recordings and actual clips that have long been hidden and not known and not heard, that the people will see with new eyes that there is something to be pondered, Lord. Lord, I ask you for the youth to open their minds and their eyes to the new world that they're living in, and that it's not about the external showing off of what you have and what you've accomplished, but it's about building, Lord. It's about being gatekeepers. It's about being the storehouses for those who, everybody is, not you. Many, 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 Lord, they need to know that many are called, but the chosen are few. And when you have been chosen to give an assignment, that let them know, Lord, that they must fulfill the assignment, not just for themselves, but for those who must be led, because like every shepherd, there are sheep that need to be led. That's why this world has so many followers. There are people who have so many followers. They're They're not good role models. They're not God-fearing people. They're the wicked, and they're in high places, and the people follow them. Lord, I ask you to give them knowledge so that they will follow only you, and you will lead them to the truth. Thank you, God, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.